Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to Copper Top Productions. In this week's video we're going to be diving into the E36 build, taking on the next few steps, identifying some of the issues that need to be fixed and fixing them, getting it ready to start drifting and yeah, starting the build. Should be good. So for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about right now, essentially what we did is we picked up a cheap E36 318i, which is the base model E36 BMW, rear-wheel drive, manual, pretty basic car, and we picked up with the intention to flip. But we decided, or I decided, it'd be cooler to keep it and do a budget drift build, and that's what we're doing now. So as you can probably tell from the sound of the car just starting up, it does have an exhaust leak. That was probably the easiest thing to identify that was wrong with this car. So that's what we're going to be focusing on primarily today, as well as fixing up anything else that we can find that's actually wrong with the car. You know what, maybe we'll just do that. Now, in most cases when doing an exhaust gasket, you're going to want to locate it first. Leak, the exhaust leak, whatever, to identify whether it's a rusted exhaust that has holes in it, a scraped away exhaust that now has holes in it, or actually a gasket. What you're going to want to do is run the car, run your head sort of down inside the car, trying to identify where the exhaust leak is actually coming from. In our case, it is in fact the engine manifold gasket. So we've got one of those here to replace it, which is nice and shiny. It's quite literally just this part here. So all we actually have to do is take off the current exhaust manifold far enough that we can get the old gasket out, put the new gasket in, put it back on, bolt it back up, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will fix our exhaust leak, and then she'll be a little bit quieter, a little bit happier, and hopefully idle a bit better, because at the moment it's kind of affecting the idle, making the idle a little high and a little bit shit. So the first thing you're really going to want to do is, so obviously do some research into your car, see if there's any nicks and tricks and that sort of thing that you can find on forums and that sort of crap. With this car it's pretty straightforward. It's move all the crap that's in the way out of the way, things like the box up here, a few of the connections there, a few things. Just as simple as unbolting them, just tucking them out of the way for now. You don't have to take them off because that makes the process a little more complicated than it needs to be. So just undo them, take them out of the way, and it opens up a bit more room for us to actually work with. So that's what I'll get into now. So we just took this out, off of that, off of the spark plugs down in there. We can see that that little top part there is the same as that top part there. So all we've got to do is unbolt this thing, which bolts onto that, and then chuck that in there as a replacement, and should be good to go. Yep, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. Now there is supposed to be 8. There's 1 still on there, preventing me from taking it off in a fucking annoying spot. As you can probably tell from the wind, there's a storm coming, and rather than wait until the storm's here and it's getting rained on, I thought I'd pack up a little bit early. Since the last clip you've seen, it's actually been a few days, so it kind of rained non-stop for like, I think it was 3-4 days, which is a massive pain in the ass. So I wasn't able to get any more work done that I could film because I didn't want to get my camera gear wet. In saying that, I did get the broken studs out, and I wouldn't have mentioned it except for the fact that I showed you guys them, and I thought it was kind of interesting how I actually went about getting them out. And in case anyone's stuck in the same position I was, not knowing how to get them out, this could help. So I'll talk about how I got them out. We had the jack up the right side of the car, left side of the car, sorry. We got the engine stand underneath there. We got a strap going from this convenient little loop to the engine stand, undid the engine mount, and then lifted the engine off the fuck. The engine was upright for once, and we set out getting the broken bolts out. First broken bolt that was closest to us, we were able to get a drill into the back of it, drill it out, hollow it out a bit, and then we managed to get one of these little suckers in there. So this is a reverse drill bit screw extractor. It's meant for like carpentry and that sort of shit when you're doing wood screws, like a a munted up wood screw like that. In saying that though, it works with just about any busted up screw I've ever had. So there's that, and it's sick. For the second one, that wasn't an option. Even with the engine lifted up, we couldn't get a drill bit in there. We couldn't get anything in there. So yeah, after a fair amount of struggling and a pretty aggravating, I don't know, day and a half working on it in the rain, I hit up internets and I YouTubed another YouTuber pulling out broken studs. Now the one I came across was this dude who was doing it in an engine that was outside of the car. Essentially what he did is he held a nut over the broken stud and then he dotted some weld and then obviously held it with pliers, dotted some weld in there. Once he got a bit in there, he just filled the mother trucker up and then broke the nut loose once it had cooled down and it came right out. So knowing that, after a few failed attempts, we did get the sucker out. So not the prettiest welding, but it doesn't have to be. All its job was to do was to get that out. So yeah, that's how we got the broken studs out. Now we're here. It's a beautiful day. Hopefully it stays this way. And all I've got to do is put the new gasket on there, chuck in the new studs that we got. So we got new exhaust studs, pretty simple, and have a hex head on one end so we can bolt them in and then bolt them up, which is awesome. They're also incredibly high tensile, so I can crank them down and not have to worry about the exhaust stud leaking. Not the saying that I'll be going over anything higher than spec, but like torque spec rating, but it's just extra reassurance. And then should be ready to shred. Alrighty, so our crane's in position. See how sketchy that looks? Ugh. So I'm thinking the easiest way to get the non-broken studs out, because essentially what I'm looking at in there is that with nothing to get on the end of there to get it out. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is putting one of the new nuts on, going back like that, grabbing a second one of the nuts, going on reverse, tightening this one against that one as much as I can, and then using the back one to try and break it loose. Well, that answers that question. They won't tighten up against each other enough to be able to crack it loose. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Nope, it's broken. Wow! Look at that solid ass weld there. Yeah? Where did it break? In there. The stud broke. The weld didn't bust. The fucking stud snapped inside it. God damn, that bitch.
One eternity later.
Well, I think we're done. So, what we ended up doing, because I could not extract that stud for the life of me, and the one behind it a little fucked up too, we ended up doing something real dodgy. And I want to make this clear before I tell you what I did. I would not do this on any other car other than an absolute shitbox, right? What we did, we made up this. I made up this, which is just an angle piece of steel with 4 holes in it, the exact same diameter as the bolts, as the studs. The first 2 bolts, these 2, were used to hold this in place, and then I put the 3rd bolt through, the one that we couldn't get out, bolted it to this so there was a bolt on this side and a bolt on that side, holding it sturdy and in the right place with the right angle, everything, and then welded the remaining busted stud onto the new stud with it being perfectly lined up. Got a nice bead around it, looks real solid. I'll show you in a bit. It's proper solid. It took a few beatings with the hammer. I reckon it'll more than take the right amount of newton meters of torque. It's just not the right way to do things, because rather than taking the stud out and replacing it, we just welded more onto it. Same with the back one. The back one was actually completely gone. I had to sort of weld where I thought the stud was. Once I found where it was, got a bit of weld on it, did the same thing. So we have all the studs on. They'll be more than enough to hold NA pressure. There you go. So that is the first one. Yep. Not real great. Can't really get in there that much, but anyway. And then that's the second one. So, yeah. Alrighty, well, with that being said, I'm going to try and see how far this will go on. Oh, it won't go on past that weld. It will go past that weld. So I need to ground the first weld down a bit. So I'll jump in and do that, and then we'll jump back when that fits on there. I love the weather here. And this is the part of the video where Ian complains and apologises for all the clips that he has missing because he was impatient and filmed the next video before editing the previous video, which resulted in clips getting deleted, which results in the end of the video kind of making no sense because I'm missing half the clips. My bad. So essentially what happened after this point is I had to ground down the welds around the studs that had been welded on there. After that, the gasket fitted on there perfectly, and then following that, the exhaust manifold went on perfectly, no issues. They bolted up clean as, went to spec and beyond because I was a bit paranoid. And started the car up, no leaks, no issues, no worries. As I said, I got all this on video, but accidentally deleted it all. Now the car's running schmick. I'll show you the car so this video actually ends with some sense, I guess. But yeah, apologies for that, guys. My bad. So as you can see, there's clearly no leaks, there's no issues over the whole motor. It's A+. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Exhaust leaks fixed. Stay tuned for the next video. It's definitely a milestone towards getting this car to be able to drift. And then the video after that should be pretty lit because it should be the first time we're out drifting this thing. So that one's gonna be good. Yeah. Alrighty guys, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like down below, leave a comment telling me what you think, and if you haven't done already, subscribe. Also, I'd like to add on to this one, if you aren't on TikTok, get on it and go and follow me there, Copper Top Productions. I've been posting a lot there, just sort of small updates, things that I do along the way that aren't worth filming for the YouTube channel. Also just, you know, nonsense that pops into my head in the middle of the day. Yeah. I'll catch you the next one, guys. See ya.